How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel as I'll be walking you through with John Wick 3 Parabellum from 2019. I really should be doing the first two John Wick movies, but this one made the most amount of money back then, apart from today's John Wick 4 from 2023. So back in New York City, looks very cool. Surprise, there hasn't been a John Wick video game yet. Pathetic. And we see John Wick running, played by Keanu Reeves, with his dog. So meanwhile, at this assassination contract killing office, as his assassination papers have been approved, whoever the assassin is and will be getting a lot of money to kill John Wick. Again, if you've seen John Wick Chapter 2 from 2014, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Watch that movie if you haven't yet. And yes, all tatted girls working here, and $14 million offered just to kill John Wick. So John just keeps running around, and we even see Buster Keaton, the 1920s silent film actor, on the jumbo screen. Now back at the Continental Hotel, we meet again Winston, played by Ian McShane. Again, from the second movie, all this began from the second movie, as Sharon helps him out, played by Lance Reddick. You know, the TV show The Wire from the 2000s. And he died unexpectedly after John Wick 4 came out, okay? So Winston tells Sharon that John Wick must die for breaking the rules from the second movie. Again, watch that movie and you'll know why. And we even meet the TikTok man, played by Jason Mantzoukas. You know, TikTok, like the application people use today. Surprisingly, TikTok was still pretty new in 2019. Time flies.
TikTok, Mr. Wick. TikTok.
And now takes a cab to the New York library, but after seeing this traffic, he changes his plan back to the Continental Hotel to take his dog back there, and runs off to the library as he has 20 minutes left before the contract is activated, and asks for a book by a Russian author. So he makes it to the book with the picture inside it, or a picture inside it, which is of him and Helen from the first movie, with a velvety interior. So he grabs these shiny items inside it, which will come in handy, and puts the picture of him and his wife Helen back inside.
You sure this is what you want to do?
14 million, it's a lot of money.
Not if you can't spend it.
His name is Ernest, played by Serbian basketball player Boban Marjanovic, one of the assassins here to kill John Wick for that 14 million. It's all about money in this movie. So after killing a basketball player, he is somehow bleeding and runs out of the library, and the new assassin spots John Wick running. Meanwhile, as money is being printed, the 14 million, and we even meet Bowery King again, played by Lawrence Fishburne. You know, the iconic duo, Neo and Morpheus, in a new world of movies. So with the TikTok man following the Bowery King, as he also wants John Wick dead. As John Wick has now made it to the doctor, and the doctor can't help him since he's also part of this bounty hunt law where you can't help excommunicados. So time is running out, and the doc is almost done stitching John Wick, and oh no.
All services are suspended.
So the John Wick contract kill has been turned on worldwide, with Winston also getting that notification. So everyone is still getting notifications as the doctor takes out his gun after helping John Wick. And I thought the doctor was going to shoot himself here, since he went after the time limit.
Be sure not to graze my car.
And as per the rules, John Wick has to shoot the doctor. So John Wick runs out as we see more assassins wanting to kill him, and all these Asian guys running after him at this lighting business, and now surrounded by guns. And these guys shoot their way inside to get to John Wick. So grabbing the knives on the wall and back to fighting. And a shit ton of knife throwing, but as always, there is always one more guy that still remains to live. Or two guys left for that matter. And now for the finale, an axe to the head. So back at the Continental Hotel, as we see Sharon recognizing John Wick's dog from the second movie and lets him in. And John Wick back on the run, and at this point, you can tell John Wick's bounty hunt contract assassination has alerted all of the local criminal gangs after him. since the Italians are now after John Wick, since they could be the mafia. As John Wick has made it inside here and beats one of them up and catches the others. And rides the horse out, and we ended here for this group. And rides the horse on between the traffic on the road in the Bronx area for sure. Meanwhile, the bounty contract increased to $15 million since no one is catching John Wick right now.
Where are you going, Jonathan?
So he makes it to this Tarkovsky theater, and after showing the shiny item from the book, and lets John Wick in, placing those items from the library, and speaks Russian with them, and even his belt has to be placed on the table. As John Wick walks in, he meets with the director here, played by Angelica Houston, as he presents her the item, and she tells him his ticket has been expired, and she speaks to him in Russian, making John Wick respond that his real name is Jardani Jovanovich, a child of Belarus, since John Wick used to be an orphan. And she brings him to the back room where you see ballerinas relaxing, and even this ballerina ripping her nail off.
As you know, art is pain.
And walks past his wrestling room where once John Wick used to be in. And the two have made it to a private office, and she speaks to him while he's here, and John Wick wants a passage to Casablanca. Not the movie, okay? And he hands her the item and rips off the beads and keeps the cross. And now takes off his shirt to get his burnt mark on his back. And now she leaves, leaving John Wick to set off for Casablanca. And the next day, back at the Continental Hotel, where we now see the adjudicator, played by Asia Kate Dillon, and calls up Winston that says something differently, that John Wick's contract is set for breaking the rules of the hotel. Nothing outside of it, but it sees the dead body of Santino D'Antonio, probably someone who got killed in the second movie for sure. I don't remember much about John Wick Chapter 2. So Santino is a member of the High Table, which is where the adjudicator is from, and blames Winston for not killing John Wick when he had the chance in the second movie. He gives him 7 days to find John Wick.
In the meantime, if you need any assistance with your transition, you may look for me in room 217.
And the adjudicator will be staying at the hotel until this ends, as a guest. And now goes to see the Bowery King and is disgusted by his environment, and he tells he's got no problem with John Wick, and presents the Kimber 1911 Bowery King gave to John Wick. And the adjudicator gives Bowery King 7 days to leave his residence, as John Wick has now made it to Casablanca, and he's literally the only one here wearing a suit, and catches the eye of other guys who knew about the 15 million contract kill. The Arabs are now after John Wick. And now for another squabble. As Yasin here, played by Aissam Bouali, over here stops his guy from beating up John Wick, or his guys from beating up John Wick. So Yasin is taking John Wick to see Sofia Al-Azwar, taking him inside to the Moroccan Continental Hotel. And wishes best of luck to Mr. John Wick in his meeting with Miss Al-Azwar. And looks at her pictures, and this dog comes out growling at John Wick. And here she comes out, played by Halle Berry, and shoots John Wick and takes out his marker and won't work on her since he's excommunicado. It opens the marker in front of her with her stained blood inside it, and we get this response and reaction.
Sit. I was talking to you, John.
And since she's management of this location of the Continental Hotel, John Wick wishes to see her boss, Barada, to talk to him. So she won't help him, especially after the incident with Sophia's daughter, which John Wick knows where she is. And she doesn't want to see her because the marker just brings her back bad memories of her daughter, so she's now getting ready to help John Wick with his quest. Meanwhile, at this Japanese restaurant in New York, with the adjudicator here now looking to eat, but to talk to him here.
John Wick, you mean? My students have not been idle.
John Wick.
Zero, played by martial arts actor Mark Dacascos, and he instantly knows the adjudicator is here because of John Wick is on the run and offers some fish, and will be of service to catch John Wick. Back at the Tarkovsky Theater, as the director here watching more rehearsals while the Japanese guys are slicing the Russians to death with their katanas. And here comes back the adjudicator to meet with the director, and she is ready to be killed since she helped John Wick escape too, a few minutes ago. And Zero rams the katana between her hands as punishment. I gotta say, the quality of the movie is just amazing. Like a comic book, like a video game. It's absolutely fantastic, and sucks there's no video game yet for John Wick. And back at Casablanca, as the two are ready to go see Barada, played by Jerome Flynn, at his place, and wants to pet her dog, and now back to business. And now asks if John Wick is here to kill, and asks where the word assassin comes from, and also shows the markers on both sides of his yard. And bows down and tells Barada that when he leaves, make sure to tell the elder that he's coming. But Barada tells John Wick that the elder will find him and go to the desert and look up for Canis Minor, which I don't know what that is, and to keep walking until he's tired. That's how the elder will locate him in the desert. Okay? And Barada wishes to keep Sophia's dog as compensation for helping out John Wick here, and he shoots the dog. And Sophia has now started a shootout after shooting Barada, and even the dog chewing on Barada's balls. Damn. And to end it here, she shoots Barada's thigh. So they're now back on the run, shooting more Arabs for the next 2 minutes with the dog's help. And John Wick has ran out of bullets and reloads on time. So Sophia is under attack, and the dog comes to save the day by chewing on the guy at the top. And now for more trouble, as these guys in the SUV are here, and they take care of them too, as half of the movie is already done. So driving off into the desert to hopefully be located by the elder and have stopped here so Sophia can feed her dogs, and pricks his thumb and puts his blood thumbprint in Sophia's marker. That was rude. And spits the water back into the bottle, and John Wick takes off. And he has to walk around for Elder to locate him. And as he passes out, as Bowery King is petting his bird, knowing he has to move away soon in 7 days, while the Japanese slice some more ass, the adjudicator is back to remind Bowery King. And he gives the adjudicator his fealty, just like Barada was going to do with Sophia. And there goes Bowery King, as John Wick now has been brought back here by these guys. We also now meet the Elder, played by Saeed Taghmaoui. The Elder offers John Wick to drink and tells the Elder that he wants to live because of his wife Helen, for the sake of love, like the Elder says. And John wants to die naturally and not forced, as the Elder offers him a job so that his excommunicado status disappears for good, allowing him to live. And that job is, of course, to kill Winston, because he never gave his fealty, and now for the disturbing moment for John Wick, to give up his fealty by chopping his finger off. And hands the Elder his ring and the flaming iron to ease the blood, and off he goes and goes inside his tent to see his new outfit since his old clothes have been damaged, and makes it back to New York, and more people are out to get him, especially the Japanese.
That's why you're special, John Wick.
So that kid's line was a save, and Mark Dacascos is back, knowing John Wick is headed to the Continental, as his reappearing guy tries to kill him, and now John Wick disappears. So John runs out and steals his bike, as more of Zero's guys are chasing him down on their bikes.
put your weapon down.
He's excommunicado.
and have made it to the Continental Hotel. As Sharon brings the two back here, and now something you would not expect.
I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. I'm a huge fan. John.
Now John Wick's dog is here, and Sharon is back for John to see Winston and Mark DeCosco speaking in Japanese to convince that they are the same. And walks up here in this futuristic room and meets with Winston and John Wick's response.
How was your journey here? Eventful?
Yeah.
And Winston knows that John Wick is here to kill him and even offers him his gun to make it happen. And have conversations before this happens and asks him who does he wish to die as, the Baba Yaga or the beloved husband. And here comes the adjudicator again. And John Wick doesn't want to kill Winston as the adjudicator has changed some things and something called deconsecrated and slaps his red notice on the Continental Hotel. And this looks bad. And the adjudicator will have loads of killers coming to the hotel soon as John Wick's privileges of getting to do anything are back. So, like medical treatments and, seeking help from others. And Sharon says high table members will be coming soon. And Sharon makes some weapon suggestions. And back at the offices of Contract Killing with these text messages being sent, and now the Continental Hotel is closed down for fumigation, which is all an excuse to make the guests leave. And the adjudicator allowing Zero to kill John Wick on Continental premises. Now the three are ready. John, Sharon, and Winston will be the ones who will be taking down these agents coming in buses.
Do what you do best.
What's that?
Hunt.
And Winston's actually going to sit this time, going to do nothing, lazy ass, and the two are off. And more foreign language quotes with the big bold captions, like with the Elder and Mark DeCoscos. So a shootout between the agents dressed like the SWAT team as John Wick and Sharon, and other of Winston's guys are getting killed. And now the shooting is done, and now this.
Need more firepower.
So Winston's such a lazy ass, maybe John Wick should have killed him, sipping his wine, not doing anything at all. Pathetic. Sharon and John have now reloaded and back to killing more agents for the next 5 minutes. So Mark DeCoscos is back and has to kill John Wick himself. And Winston hanging up on the adjudicator since it's really getting annoying now. And now some more fight sequences and John Wick is getting hurt bad.
But I assure you.
Yep, bulletproof glass. Now more fighting in this room as Zero claps where John Wick's fighting and more guys are having pleasure to fight John Wick by these two Indonesian martial artists, Yayan Ruhian and Sesep Arif Rahman. And back to the two beating up John Wick, speaking in Indonesian, and back to fighting. And tries to break into the glass floor with one of them and tries it with the other. And I've made it to face Mark DeCoscos, who's a real martial artist in real life, but I don't know about Keanu Reeves, as John Wick now fights him for the next 4 minutes and slams the katana into him like it's a hammer near the end.
That was a pretty good fight, huh?
Yeah.
I'll catch up to you, John.
No, you won't.
Now Winston's phone is ringing, of course called by the adjudicator and suggests a parley, which means discussion or dispute, and Sharon is back to make sure if Winston is going to join him. So Zero is still giving his feedback on the fight he just had with John Wick. The movie's almost done with the lights just turned off and on. So John Wick gets back up to grab his belt and leaves Zero to die.
What do you propose we do?
So it's morning now and the adjudicator is still here for Winston to allow Winston to end this nonsense between him and the adjudicator is to offer the adjudicator the Continental Hotel, and John Wick shows up and knows they're having a parley. John Wick knows they're having a parley. And Winston gives his fealty under the high table, making the adjudicator giving the Continental Hotel back to Winston since he's been here for 40 years.
Oh, he has to die.
So Winston actually shoots John Wick many times because the adjudicator wants him gone. And the hotel is back to being reconsecrated. So deconsecrated and reconsecrated, two words I will never forget from watching the John Wick movies. So as the adjudicator leaves, John Wick's body has disappeared. Well, yeah, how he's going to come back in the fourth movie in 2023. And the adjudicator leaves as John Wick's dog goes to look for him, and we end it here.
Baba Yaga.
As the Continental is under the new renovation, after that shootout, we see this grocery cart being pushed, and pushing it is a TikTok man from earlier with John Wick's dog by his side. And it's Bowery King again, who's alive and sipping on Fanta. And John Wick's body has been thrown down, and he's still alive too. Great response.
Yeah.
Directed by Chad Stahelski, and that is John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum from 2019. Great movie, and thanks for watching once again. And I'll see you next time in Training Day from 2001. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, see you soon, and watch away. See you next time, and enjoy the next 8 minutes of the credits of this movie.